And welcome back, and thank you so much for joining me in today's video. It was announced today that applications for home loans increased last week as mortgage rates have been on a downward trend for the past couple of months. This marks the fifth week in the last 6 that mortgage applications have actually been increasing. However, though, that's not the full story though, because even though home buying demand appears to have been increasing over the past month and a half or so, the current levels right now for applications for home loans to buy houses, when looking at pre-COVID levels, we're at the lowest levels going back to approximately October of 2015. Also in today's video, I'm going to share some more leading indicators of home buying demand so we can have a gauge about what direction our US housing market is headed. And before that, if you guys are looking for a real estate agent referral, whether you're looking to buy or sell a house, check out that link below, which is homeandmoney.com/Jason to get started today. And with that said, I have a fun video to share with you guys because here's a new report from the MBA just announced today at the time of this video, which is April 12th. Hope you guys appreciate these timely housing market updates. I certainly enjoy researching the housing market and reporting the latest trends for you guys here. So here's what I had to say. Applications overall, which includes refis plus purchases, actually increased 5.3% from 1 week earlier. Just reported today, and this is for the week ended April 7th this year. So the refi index was flat compared to last week, but it's down 57% compared to 1 week ago. This is an index which measures the amount of applications for refis, decreasing 57% on a year-over-year basis. In contrast, the seasonally adjusted purchase index, which of course is a measure of the amount of people who are submitting applications to buy houses right now, actually increased 8% compared to 1 week ago. Now, having said that, it has decreased by 31% on a year-over-year basis. There's actually a few things I want to touch on regarding the purchase index right here that's not mentioned in this report right here. Again, it has been increasing for 5 out of the last 6 weeks. This chart right here is on the Mortgage News Daily's website here. They have not updated based on this new report that was just announced today. That's because last week or 2 weeks ago, applications actually decreased, but again, this week they actually increase. So for example, based on the MBA's report from 1 week ago, their purchase index was at 166.6. But because their index increased by 8% compared to that last week, their current index is at approximately 180 right now. Also, going back 6 weeks ago, their index was at 138.8. So by my dumb math, that means their purchase index has increased a whopping 30% over the past 6 weeks alone. Now hold on here, because their index has increased 30% over the past 6 weeks. Here's something you guys should be aware of though, is that back right here at 138.8, that was the lowest levels going back to 1995. In other words, the lowest levels in the last 28 years. The reason why I mention this is that even though their index has increased approximately 30% over the past month and a half or so, this is actually coming off the lowest levels going back to 1995. In addition, as I mentioned at the start of this video here, when looking at pre-COVID levels right now, we're at the lowest levels going back to approximately October of 2015. So big picture here, even though demand appears to have been increasing, we're still at very low levels regarding activity for current home buyers right now. All right, let's get back to the MBA's report here. According to their senior vice president and chief economist, he stated the following. Incoming data last week showed that the job market is beginning to slow, which led the 30-year fixed rate to decrease to 6.30%, the lowest level in the last 2 months. So I actually want to touch on this job market and how that's impacting our housing market and more importantly, rates. But also their quote here is saying that the current levels right now for rates are the lowest levels in the last 2 months. I would say it depends on your stores. So regarding the job market, here's what CNBC reported last Friday when the jobs market for March was released. So non-farm payrolls actually increased 236,000 in March. That was in line with the Dow Jones estimate of 238,000, but coming in at 236,000, even though that was in line with expectations, This is well below February's gains of 326,000. In addition, at 236,000, this is actually the smallest gain in jobs going back to December of 2020. And here's a chart showing the number of jobs gained by month over the past 1 year. At 236,000, this is much lower than the 326,000 in February, and also much lower than the 472,000 we saw back in January. Also compare this to January of 2022, there was 364,000 jobs gained. Also 1 year ago, at March of 2022, there was 414,000 jobs gained during that month. So in other words, the pace of hiring is slowing down, which is exactly what the Fed wants right now in order to reduce inflation numbers right here. Also regarding the jobs market or jobs report as well, average hourly earnings increased by 0.3%, pushing the 12-month increase to 4.2%. So a gain of 4.2%. However, though, that's the lowest levels going back to June of 2021. Going back to the MBA's report here regarding the application numbers, regarding their quote here saying that the current rates right now for mortgages are at the lowest levels in 2 months. Again, it depends on your source here. So when looking at the MBA's weekly report regarding rates, that is actually true because rates have been falling according to them for 5 consecutive weeks now. So for example, for the week ended on March 8th, average rates according to them was at 6.79% according to the MBA for people with exceptional credit, of course. And then as of today, which is April 12th, it decreased to 6.30%. One thing that's very important to know here is that even though rates have been decreasing for 5 consecutive weeks, according to the MBA, when comparing levels 1 year ago, we're still at very high levels here. So compared to 1 year ago, average rates are at 4.80%. Now they're at 6.30%. That's an increase of 1.5 percentage points over the past 12 months. Also, when comparing rates today compared to 2020 and 2021, rates have increased by about 3.3 percentage points. One last thing I do want to mention regarding rates, though, is that when comparing rates on a weekly basis, according to the MBA, versus a daily basis, you actually get a little bit different of a story here. So according to the Mortgage News daily rate right now, as of today, which is the 12th of April again, average rates are at 6.42%, not a 2-month low, because this is actually the lowest levels going back to approximately, 3 days ago. But what is similar regarding the MBA's weekly update here is that rates have been decreasing ever since the beginning of March this year, which is true regarding daily rates as well. According to the Mortgage News Daily's daily rate, rates have been decreasing again ever since early March this year. Before I share some more early signs of home buying demand, I also want to share this last bit right here on the MBA's report because they say here that of all the people who had submitted applications for home loans, whether it's for a refi or for a home loan, approximately 20% or 27% of applications are coming from people who are doing refis, which means that approximately 3 of every 10 applications for home loans is for people doing refi. And of course, this means that approximately 70% are doing home purchases right now. To me, this is pretty amazing that approximately 27% of all applications are for people doing refis, given the fact that rates were about 3% back in 2020 and 2021. And of course, they're around 6.3% right now. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that's a high number still? Please leave me a comment below. Also, in regards to some more early signs of home buying demand, for searches on Google for homes for sale, that has decreased by about 12% compared to 1 year ago. So Google searches for homes for sale down by about 12% from 12 months ago. Also, the interest over time for this, for the entire year this year, has been more or less flat. A slight increase compared to the first week this year, but more or less flat all year. Here's also something I want to share with you guys as well, because here's a look at real estate showings across North America compared to the first week of each of these years here. This is 2021, there at the top. In the middle there is 2022, and in orange, that's 2023. this year, of course. This year, and this is actually for the week ended April 11th, 7-day moving average. This year, that increased 11.8% compared to the first week this year. So approximately 12% more real estate showings across North America compared to the first week this year. Last year, this time, we saw a gain of 25.3%. Also, back in 2021, we saw a 53.2% increase compared to the first week of 2021. So in other words, my biggest takeaway regarding this right here is that, of course, we have more real estate showings compared to the first week of this year, which is entirely normal, as you can see in this graphic right here, over the past several years. But the current number of home showings across North America is still well below last year as well as 2021. And this, of course, could mean that home buying demand is increasing, but not nearly at the same rates compared to the past couple of years. Another good way to kind of share this trend we're seeing right now, where demand is increasing, but not nearly the same rates compared to the past couple of years, is this right here. Because pending home sales for the 4 weeks ended March 26 are down 19.2% compared to the same time frame of 2022. So obviously we have more pending home sales right now compared to the first half this year, or first month this year, and has been increasing, but not at the same rates compared to 2022 or 2021. I say this because back in 2021 at this time, there was around 108,000 pending home sales. Back in 2022, there was 101,000. Now there's only 81,812 according to data from Redfin. But what's your biggest takeaways from today's video? Also, check out that link below if you guys want real estate agent referral in your neck of the woods. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.